And you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. You go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day, you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts, and that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.
All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in to this video. It's been a while since I made some static content. I think it's about time we start bagging some content. And we got some interesting looking charts here. Global liquidity on the rise. As you guys know, M2 money supply is breaking out. A lot of the equities markets and even crypto markets should follow suit. We're going to go through some of the overall synopsis of these markets and really how you guys can position yourselves here for the next 3 to 6 months. And catch you guys on the chart. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys drop a like, comment. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and take the notification bell. And we'll catch you guys on the chart. All right, so here, first things first, I'm going to go through here is the total crypto market. It is a beautiful long-term channel up. As you guys can see, we've been riding along the bottom of this channel here since it was started in 2017. We had the March 2020 crash that we deviated outside but snapped back in. This was our 2021 bull market where we made this top, we made this retest and double top and right back down to the bottom of the channel. It's like perfect textbook stuff on a long-term time frame here. And what's great is we have a lot of room to the upside because of where we're at. We're at the bottom of the channel. This is probably going to be a very explosive move when we do get it. It is going to emulate something like this. I am targeting around the $6 to $7 trillion total market cap number. It sounds crazy right now because we're at 3.31 trillion and we're coming up to these all-time highs here to contest these all-time highs. But I do think that this midline of this channel is going to act as our major resistance when we get there. How many legs do we have here? Well, in theory, now there's no reason to be a moon boy, but in theory, we could end up coming somewhere at the top of this channel, maybe by the end of this year. I do think that we could go up to here and, we get a big drawdown after that, maybe back to the bottom of the channel or something. And then we get some blow off top move, into Q4 or maybe even into 2026. I don't know how, typically, we typically end these cycles at the end of Q4. It really all just depends on, what the global liquidity supply is doing and if they're continuing to print money. Now, we know that QE hasn't really taken place here in the U.S. They've definitely tapered the QT, which is going to add risk appetite back into the market. So I wanted to kind of cover the total market cap here. Tonight on the stream, we're going to cover, Bitcoin, and we're going to cover, the overall perspective on Bitcoin and where it's headed. But I wanted to give you guys a clue. This stage of the cycle is really all about Ethereum catching a bid. This is like the last part of the cycle, and this is where a lot of gains can be made if you're in the right assets towards the latter part of the cycle. And remember, in my humble opinion, it's actually really all about how you can accumulate Bitcoin. This is my 2 cents. As we all know, that there's been institutional adoption here for Bitcoin, and you got governments and countries adopting Bitcoin, sovereign wealth funds adopting Bitcoin. So you guys know that Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. It's definitely here for the long term. The goal here should not just be accumulating dollars. Obviously, you need dollars to pay for your life, but eventually, just accumulating the Bitcoin is really the key. So what you really should practice and what you really should do is take your favorite altcoin and chart it against Bitcoin, because all these assets are going to appreciate against the dollar, or I would say a high majority of them will. It's about maximizing the total capital that you have to get the most yield in this short time span that we have here for the next 3 to 6 months. Okay. And so we can look at, for example, let's look at ETH versus Bitcoin. Okay. So the ETH Bitcoin chart here, as we all know, and we identified here in the alert service, if you guys are part of that, we were talking about it coming back down to the range, the 2020-2021 ETH Bitcoin ratio range. And we tagged it, and we're actually putting in a nice monthly bullish engulfing candle right now. And then this month isn't closed, but if you throw on some oscillators, we've never actually been oversold on the monthly RSI versus Bitcoin. To me, this is a very, very, very low risk area to be rolling Bitcoin for Ethereum because of the ratio. Now, does it mean that we're going to go, all the way back up to the top of the range? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But it does mean that there's a really high probability that you could multiply your Bitcoin by rolling into Ethereum. Now, I always get the same question. Okay, well, after ETH rips out versus Bitcoin, is the trade just to go back into Bitcoin, or is the trade just to go into cash at that point? That's really usually a good question. But I would say it's probably a split, because towards the end of the cycle, after a euphoric rally, yes, there's going to probably be a major crash or correction, just like every market cycle. But at the end of the day, we all know that Bitcoin is going to hold more liquidity than any other asset in the crypto land because, well, it's the biggest crypto. So you can protect your profits from these altcoins, from this volatility, just by holding Bitcoin. The only asset, personally, that I think is viable to hold through a bear market is Bitcoin. Okay. And yes, you could maybe hold your Ethereum as well if you are okay with 90 or 80 to 90% drawdowns. Again, it's not really about the US dollar value, it's the Bitcoin value. So if Ethereum somehow is going to outperform Bitcoin in the next bear market, then maybe you should just be holding Ethereum, but that's not usually the case, right? So this is a big range here on the ETH Bitcoin chart. You can very clearly see some levels that might be possible for Ethereum versus Bitcoin to tag. This is probably our first major level right here, which is about the 4% region. We can very easily Fibonacci this from the swing high candle body to the swing low candle body on the monthly time frame, and we can get a very good idea as to where this is going to go. So technically, even right now, it hasn't even confirmed this low as being the bottom until we start making closures back above the 236 fib extension. Okay, so we're very early here. This is just starting, in my opinion, and this is going to take months for this to materialize and play out. All right, so that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, give you guys something that you can come back to and replay this video, basically. So this is the ETH Bitcoin chart. We can take your favorite altcoin. Let's just look at some of the other major blue chip L1s. Let's look at Avalanche, because we all know Avalanche hasn't really done too much this cycle. And let's chart it against ETH, actually. So we know that ETH Bitcoin looks bottomed out. So is AVAX ETH looking good? Meaning, is Avalanche going to outperform Ethereum on this next push, right? So here's Avalanche versus Ethereum. Now, there's not really a ton of data here, but I would say that this says, no, dude, probably just want to stay in ETH, especially right now. This looks like this is probably going to continue down, right? So the answer to that question is no, probably just own ETH over AVAX. Cool. How about some other major blue chips? Let's look at, ADA. So Cardano did actually, break out here versus Ethereum. You could see that this trend line was broken. But you can see right now it's been continuing to pull back against Ethereum, meaning Ethereum is gaining more value against Cardano at current pace. Now, does that mean that Cardano can't just reverse and start outperforming Ethereum? Yes, it can. Pay attention to your technicals, pay attention to your levels here. This looks like a major level of support here. So 88 could be a contender, okay, against Ethereum, just owning Ethereum. All right, so that's something to watch out for. How does BNB look versus Ethereum? My guess is BNB has been a nice slow chug along against ETH, okay? Yeah, BNB is very, very, very bullish against Ethereum, all right? Yes, it's basically pulled back here a bit, but it looks like it's just making higher lows and higher highs against ETH. So in my book, BNB is stronger, is obviously a stronger play in the portfolio than Ethereum. It's clearly outperforming it. It's been outperforming it for quite some time. It's in a long-term channel up. Yeah, we got a rejection here. ETH might go on a bit of a rally against it, but BNB is also a smaller market cap, so it makes sense that BNB could outperform Ethereum here. Let's compare kind of apples to apples. Let's look at XRP versus Ethereum, because XRP is also a top crypto, and we're going to see right here how this looks. So actually, XRP broke out versus Ethereum back here in November when it broke out of its major 7-year pennant against the dollar. All right, and you can clearly see that this trend line was broken. Now it does look like that XRP is not going to outperform ETH and might come back down to retest this breakout. So again, Ethereum is going to win this battle here. It looks like, right? Very overbought. Monthly time frame coming down. The answer is you should be holding Ethereum over XRP. Okay. How about Solana? Solana's gone on quite a run. So this is kind of the thing you need to really look at, do. Now, I'm not saying that, this is like an end-all situation where, you need to just, only hold assets that look like they're going to outperform others. But this is a really good gauge for understanding, what's to come in these markets too. So to me, yes, Solana has clearly outperformed Ethereum here for quite some time. But it looks to me like, man, are you forming bearish divergence here on the monthly time frame on the stochastic RSI? It looks like it, right? It looks like Sol is going to start losing its performance versus Ethereum. So to me, I think ETH is going to really make a massive move, and Solana will make a move, but just won't be as massive. Back to the bottom of the rising wedge here. It looks like, no breakdown yet, but you can start to see that momentum getting weaker and weaker on that monthly time frame. So I think Solana will underperform Ethereum here for the next coming months. All right. So if you have Solana in your portfolio, this might be a time to maybe consider, rolling it to Ethereum for maybe some more gains. Right. Looks like Ethereum might outpace Solana by 51%. Okay. Not a major move, not a major whatever, but, if you rolled Ethereum for Solana down here at this bottom and you sold it at the top back for ETH, well, you just 10x'd your bag. Okay. That's the beauty of ratio trading right here. This right here, if your whole goal was to accumulate Ethereum during the beginning part of this cycle, you really, really nailed it with rolling into Solana. Okay. Now let's take some of your one-off meme coins, or maybe, another major asset here would be, let's see, INJ. INJ has been a really great mover this cycle. Let's take a look at INJ versus ETH. Okay, so INJ versus ETH has been downtrending. It's also been downtrending against the dollar as well. So, the ratios also go down when the dollar pair goes down versus the dollar, more so than the other underlying asset. Okay, but to me, this looks like, yeah, you're in a downtrend right here. You could be, wedging. This looks like a potential wedge pattern on the weekly time frame. You may lose a little bit more value here. I don't see this momentum maybe ticking up just yet. Your monthly time frame, though, is suggesting monthly bullish divergence on a stochastic RSI. You don't have a confirmation. It is suggesting that this could be, maybe getting close to some sort of low versus Ethereum. So again, something to watch out for. INJ might be something you want to have in your portfolio against, just holding your bag of Ethereum to get some gains. All right. If you guys like the content, you guys know what to do. Smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tick the notification bell. I'm going to be trying to put out some more, explanatory videos about how to trade ratios, looking at ratios, and trying to maximize your capital. Because obviously, if you're in these markets, you're trying to grow your wealth quick, right? That's the whole allure with crypto, is you can grow your wealth quicker in crypto than in traditional markets. And I would say that that's true because you're dealing with a lot lower liquidity assets. And because they're a lot lower liquidity, when liquidity does come in, well, you're talking about major moves on an asset's price. And so that's the give and take with crypto and why there is such an allure with it. Okay. KSM, I've always liked KSM. I mean, I don't currently have positioned this thing, but I think KSM versus ETH was also looking pretty good. I originally thought that this was going to do a lot better earlier on in the cycle. It's not really showing good signs yet against ETH. In fact, it's actually getting maybe rejected here and might continue lower. So that gives you an idea or a clue that maybe you don't want to be in KSM versus ETH right now. So this is kind of how you should be gauging it. Like I would say, like the AI coins are probably going to be a lot stronger than just holding ETH or something. They're a lot lower market cap, and they're kind of hot. They're running. Like here's AI16Z versus ETH, for example. This is probably crushing ETH. Or, well, maybe it's not right now, but it went on a major leg against it, right? But you can see. So you broke out. Now you're retesting, and it looks like it's just making higher lows against ETH. So this could be an asset that you may want to hold in your portfolio versus Ethereum, right? Or you might want to just have some exposure to it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And this is the gist of what you really need to do as somebody who's involved in the crypto market, is to understand what assets are going to outperform what assets. So you don't end up buying a coin that is an underperformer. And if you do buy a coin that's an underperformer, you can quickly get out of it and go into something that can save your portfolio. All right. Again, guys, if you guys appreciate the content, you guys know what to do. Smash the like button up. Hit the subscribe button, tick the notification bell, and we'll actually see you guys on the Sunday live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll catch you guys then. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And before I go, again, I appreciate all you guys that have been with me along these years, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the content that I put out. I know I really only stream once a week, and it's a lot these days with children and stuff. But if you guys do have friends or families that are interested in learning about what I do on these charts, and folks that have been with me, obviously you're still with me for a reason. Maybe consider bringing some people in. We always are open, and there's plenty of room for growth here. Again, I appreciate the continued support, and I will try to continue to put out some valuable content for you guys. And we'll catch you guys on the stream on tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate your guys' time.